What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to rank every Fast and Furious movie. I'm not going to bore you with a huge opening or anything like that. We're going to get right into it. I rewatched just recently all of them to prepare for the beautiful and amazing F9. I'm going to be covering Fast and Furious quite a bit on this channel, and that's all I'll say for now. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turn on, hit the like button so you guys can see all of these Fast and Furious videos because I'm going to be making quite a few of them as we get closer and closer to F9. I am going to include Hobbs Shaw. Could be very controversial, but it is Fast and Furious presents Hobbs Shaw. I get that that's kind of a spin-off, that that's not a mainline Fast and Furious film, but I will include it in this listing. Okay, we're going to go worst to best. Coming in at dead last out of the 9 films is Tokyo Drift. I made an entire video on Tokyo Drift. I know it's not the most popular opinion. I know it's very controversial. I know that video did like just as much dislikes as it did likes. There's a lot of people that love Tokyo Drift, so I won't bore you. Again, you can maybe go watch that video for more specific reasons why I don't like it. I just don't. The acting, I think, is the worst thing in the history of Fast and Furious by a mile. It doesn't really have an ending. It doesn't really have a very good plot or a character in terms of the main character that learns anything or grows, and I'll kind of leave it at that. Again, I made an entire video on it. The second worst Fast and Furious film is F2, okay? Too Fast, Too Furious. And by the way, Tokyo Drift is the only one that I would say I actually don't like. I don't maybe hate it. I would actually maybe say I would hate it. But besides that one, I don't hate any of these. In fact, I really love a lot of them. The second Fast and Furious movie, I think I've only ever seen one other time. I actually quite enjoyed it. I really like I don't know, Roman works really well with Brian. It's got a solid enough premise. It's got a little kind of like undercover work, which is a little bit like it was kind of a repetition of what they did with F1, which is okay. I really honestly didn't mind it. They upped the stakes. They upped the action. The action was a little bit better. I think it was a pretty darn solid movie overall. It was nowhere near as good as one, but I think for the second outing and to start to introduce a new character and to kind of expand the world, I think they did. They say bro way too. Whoever wrote that movie should have been, maybe, I don't actually think Chris Morgan did write that, so hopefully that person was fired because they said bro every other word, and that's probably not how you do dialogue, although I am no, script writer, but that's just my opinion. The third, okay, or I guess coming in at number 7 is F1. Now, this could be very controversial because I think a lot of people will look to F1 as their favorite. And let me make it very clear. I understand. There is actually a very big appreciation for 1, 2, and Tokyo Drift. I'm not dismissing it. I'm not saying that is not valid. I'm just saying for me, I guess maybe I'm part of like the new age fans that do like, and I don't see anything wrong with it going off the walls that it kind of has. However, I actually do like some of the more grounded-ish ones. Okay, just to, I guess, kind of clear that up. But I have nothing wrong with what they've done in the present. But I also actually really respect the past. F1 remarkably holds up remarkably well. Let me reverse my words. I really like it. The cast is really good. The cast doesn't come even anywhere near close. I'd almost argue in 2, 3, 4. I'd say it really takes to F5 to get a cast that actually works as well as everybody does in F1. Again, that's just my opinion. So I give F1 a ton of credit. Again, the acting is really darn solid. They do actually focus quite a lot on family, which is, maybe it could be surprising to some people. The action, again, is I haven't seen this movie all that much, and it's been a long, long time since I've seen it. So again, I was kind of shocked that, obviously it's not to the graphics, and it doesn't look necessarily as great as it does now, but I mean, it holds up really well. So I know, the third lowest movie kind of seems low. I understand that, but to me, again, this is after Tokyo Drift. It's kind of all love. It's just which one I kind of prefer more. That's probably the best way of saying it. Coming in next is F4. I actually really like this. Now, F4 actually, I believe, has the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score. Not that I care, and that's the point. I don't care what critics say. It couldn't be more clear with this one because I don't think F4 is a bad movie whatsoever. I actually liked it a lot more than F1. I was kind of surprised surprised because I've only seen F4 a handful, I think like 2 or 3 other times. It's been a very long time, and I never saw what the critics gave it, so I saw it and I was like, was it really that bad? Like, I don't remember it being that bad, but like here I am watching it as a 24-year-old adult. Like, maybe I'll hate it. No, I actually really liked it. Not too much I can say about it. Like, I don't really have the strongest opinions of it. It was just really solid. I'm glad I watched it, and I think it starts to set in motion. And I get that this was the movie that really starts to separate the old from the new, right? Tokyo Drift was Tokyo Drift. 1 and 2 was more about street racing, as was Tokyo Drift. And then 4 starts to take it away. And I think this is where we get the divide in fans, which I think is understandable. Next one is going to be probably very controversial, but I think I have some good reasons. F7. Now, let me make this very clear. I love F7 to death. I really do. I think it was the second Fast and Furious movie I ever saw in theaters. I saw 6 in theaters, and then obviously I've seen it since then, but 6 was the first one, 7 was the next one. The ending is, there's not even words you can put. It's the most emotional, it's one of the most emotional things in any movie ever. And I don't even know how that's possible, but it really is. I think it's beautiful what they do with Brian. I think the music, obviously the See You Again, and how big, obviously, remember how big that was back in the day when that first came out? I mean, it was enormous, and that movie was enormous. I love that. The big action sequences in this movie are insane, and I actually really do like them. Okay, the Hobbs and Shaw fight, the driving between like towers part. I mean, there is some amazing scenes in this movie at like that beat probably every other film. But, and I understand that it's because of Paul's death, right? That, they filmed some of it. I don't even know how much they filmed. They sometimes make it seem like it was 50-50. Sometimes they make it seem like it was more. Sometimes they make it seem it was less. I don't exactly know the number, but the film is very messy. And, I guess for people that, I don't know if anybody stuck around just to kind of like attack Fast and Furious, right? I mean, let's again be real though, okay? There is a lot to love about it. They're also not the most perfect films altogether. But I think even for a Fast and Furious film, this one is very messy. There's a lot of jumping. There's not a lot of like synchronization from one scene to the next. And I do think that's a lot of trying to revolve it around what they already had and wanted to keep versus the new stuff. And I just don't think it worked well. You know what I mean? Jason Statham also like I remember loving 7, but after watching 8 and after watching Hobbs and Shaw, this was easily the worst they did with Deckard. Really, I mean, he's still good, but like having him as the villain in his own movie, he was one of the weakest ones, which is very, very weird. Maybe it's just because they do such a flip with him so quickly where he's like not a villain, right? You're supposed to kind of like him really after 7. Maybe it's because of that rewatching 7, it's like, I don't really know if I can look at you, like, I don't really know if you're the greatest villain. And Fast and Furious, I would say, has had issues with villains in general. I think the first Shaw brother was actually pretty solid. I think Deckard is okay. I think Cypher's actually really good. So they've gotten better recently, but I think overall they have had an overall villain problem. But yeah, I really like 7. There's so many strengths to 7, but I just think the film is really messy. I'm not the biggest fan also of like the entire ending sequence, Dom versus Deckard, basically like with a lightsaber battle, but with like wrenches. I mean, it's cool to look at, but it's like, I don't really need it. And then you have them like driving through the streets, and there's like the missile kind of drone going after them. It's okay. I don't think it's my favorite kind of end big sequence that they've ever done. It's probably one of the weaker ones that I honestly argue. But again, the strengths of this movie, my dear God, just take it. I think it rises it pretty darn high. Another controversy is I'm going to put Hobbs and Shaw here at number 4. I know a lot of people actually really hate Hobbs and Shaw. I didn't. I like those characters quite a bit. I thought the movie was very funny. I like where they're going with the kind of like enhancements, okay, to like Idris Elba's character. I like it. I really, really like it because maybe they could do something like that with Han. Obviously, the character has had the mysterious voice character, right? We don't know who that is, but they have some sort of relationship with Hobbs in the past. So I think they're like, again, like I guess I understand why people don't like it, but I actually really do like it. I think it's got some really cool action scenes. I think the comedy is very, very good. And then again, I think what it probably does better than I would have expected it to is like Fast and Furious never should have maybe been. You could argue, I guess, again, if you want to be like, if you want to take it on the negative point, but like I don't think it never needed to be like this huge MCU universe where it's got spin-offs and it's got all these things that like will connect back. But now that it's become that and there's no stopping it, and so why even try, and why not just embrace it like I have? I think that they've done actually a reasonably good job where, they really can connect this group that's basically kind of like the Illuminati, or like, this super powerful group, and this character, this mysterious voice that, it could be a character we already know. And again, like these enhancements done to Idris Elba's character can easily be done to bring back Giselle, to bring back Han. Again, we don't really know why Han or how Han is back, right? So I really did enjoy the movie. I know that maybe could be controversial. Okay, these last three we'll try to run through pretty quickly. Number 3 is Fast 5, the 5th movie. Now, I know a lot of people look to this movie as the best one, and trust me, when I watched it in order, okay, this was easily the best one. I think this one actually has the highest critic score for any Fast and Furious movie, and it's very clear why. The story is actually pretty simplistic. It's not the most outrageous thing in the world. It, again, does take it a little bit more towards the crazy side of, like, the action and kind of getting away from, again, the street races, but it's got, I think, a phenomenal plot. I think it's got, I love like the heist kind of idea of it. And heists are done all the time in movies, but I think they absolutely nail it. Seeing all these characters come together, by the way, is phenomenal. In some ways, I think it is better than 6 when they're already. So like 6 is kind of like they're coming back again and they all already know each other. In 5, it's really developing some of these characters and putting them with each other for the first time. So you could argue which one is better, and I would honestly see either argument, but 5 is such like this is like these top 3, again, like this is just my opinion. Yes, I am technically saying the other 2 are better than this one, but again, it's just which ones I prefer. This one is amazing. I would watch this one all the time and never get bored with it and never stop loving it, okay? I just think the other 2 are actually better. Number 2 is Fate of the Furious. I was actually shocked. So when I saw Fate of the Furious for the first time, I loved it. I mean, there's no doubt about it, okay? I loved it. But I felt like something was kind of lacking with it. After watching it, again, in order, I feel like 8 is phenomenal. Again, yes, the submarine, and like it takes it really, really wild, but I love this movie a lot. Like, there is comedy that's really good, that still gets me laughing after watching this movie probably 4 or 5 times. The action is insane and really good. The characters are phenomenal. Even, like, again, like Deckard being on the good side and all that is great. Dom being bad, I mean, look, Vin Diesel is Vin Diesel, and people will hate him, people will like him. He has the most range that he's ever had in a Fast and Furious movie in this movie. He actually can do quite a bit. I think personally he doesn't all that much, but in this movie he does a lot. I love it. I love him being forced to do this stuff for Cypher, her killing Elena. Like, that scene was absolutely phenomenal between them. That kind of emotion from Dom. It was great. Honestly, it really, really was. Cypher is definitely a cool villain. I like what they've done with her, so I'm really impressed by this. And I get this is so over the top. This is the most over the top they've ever gotten, I guess, besides The Rock holding the helicopter down from like the chains. Like, that was probably the most over the top. But besides that, this movie was, and I get it, that's not for everybody, and that just kind of breaks the immersion or whatever. But I think, especially for like the modern age Fast and Furious, this one had the most dynamic. It had, I don't know, I'm just talking about it, I really love this movie. But there's one movie I love the most, and it's F6. I've always loved this movie more than any of the other ones ever since I've seen it, and I was ready for it to be dethroned, okay? I saw 5, and I was like, you know what? 5 is phenomenal. I don't remember it being this good. Is it better than 6? Watch 6. It's like, nope, 6 to me is still better. Is 8 better than 6? Nope, absolutely not. Is 7? No, 7's way too messy. So I wanted to give the other movies a shot in dethroning it, but no movie did. F6 is, in my opinion, the perfect Fast and Furious movie. Again, it doesn't have that dynamic of bringing them all together, but again, it's got what I just said with F8. It's got the comedy. It's got the action. I love the plane at the end. It's my favorite end sequence they've ever done. It could be my favorite end sequence they'll ever do. I love it. I love the stakes. I love everybody kind of splitting up into their own teams and each having their own like thing that they're doing, and kind of their each their biggest danger that's kind of happening to them. I mean, killing off Han and Giselle like 5 minutes, 10 minutes apart from each other was soul crushing at the time. I was like, wait, they just freaking killed Giselle, and then this is where they're just gonna connect it to Tokyo Drift and kill Han. And it's like, oh my dear God. So I love this movie, again, to death. I really do. I was waiting for another movie to dethrone it, another Fast and Furious movie, and none could. So this is easily my favorite. Honestly, I would say easily. Like, the other movies are close, but I mean, like, they never really stood a chance, in my opinion. F6 is just so good. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? What are your, I know some of you guys have already given me your rankings from the Tokyo Drift video, but let me know your rankings in the comments below. Would love to have a discussion with you guys. I can explain. I'm sure I missed stuff. Like in 7, I love the Mia Brian conversation, by the way, on the phone. That almost made me tear up. That's so beautiful. There's definitely probably things in each of these movies that I forgot to mention, right? So we can talk about that more in the comments. So let me know your own rankings. Again, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon, give the video a like, all that stuff, so you guys see when these videos go up, so you guys can help support these videos. I do want to make many more. We are going to talk quite a bit about F9 as we get closer. I've noticed there's really nobody talking about Fast and Furious on YouTube. I will gladly take that, that spot as like the channel. I would love to, and I'm going to, honestly. So I'm going to talk about this movie F9 quite a bit leading into it, and then when the movie is out. Okay, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.